Question 1. What is the JDBC? Answer. Java Database Connectivity. JDBC is a standard Java API to interact with relational databases from Java. JDBC has set of classes and interfaces which can use from Java application and talk to database without learning RDBMS details and using database-specific JDBC drivers. Question 2. What are the new features added to JDBC 4.0? Answer. The major features added in JDBC 4.0 include auto-loading of JDBC Driver class, connection management enhancements, support for row and SQL type, dataset implementation of SQL using annotations, SQL exception handling enhancements, SQL XML support. Question 3. Explain basic steps in writing a Java program using JDBC. Answer. JDBC makes the interaction with RDBMS simple and intuitive. When a Java application needs to access database, load the RDBMS specific JDBC driver because this driver actually communicates with the database. In case of JDBC 4.0, this is automatically loaded. Open the connection to database, which is then used to send SQL statements and get results back. Create JDBC statement object. This object contains SQL query. Execute statement which returns result sets. Result set contains the tuples of database table as a result of SQL query. Process the result set. Close the connection. Question 4. What are the main components of JDBC? Answer. The life cycle of a servlet consists of the following phases. Driver manager manages a list of database drivers, matches connection requests from the Java application with the proper database driver using communication subprotocol. The first driver that recognizes a certain subprotocol under JDBC will be used to establish a database connection. Driver, the database communications link, handling all communication with the database. Normally, once the driver is loaded, the developer need not call it explicitly. Connection interface with all methods for contacting a database. The connection object represents communication context, i.e., all communication with database is through connection object only. Statement encapsulates an SQL statement which is passed to the database to be parsed, compiled, planned and executed. Result set. The result set represents set of rows retrieved due to query execution. Question 5. What is JDBC Driver Interface? Answer. The JDBC Driver Interface provides vendor-specific implementations of the abstract classes provided by the JDBC API. Each vendor driver must provide implementations of the java.sql.connection statement, prepared statement, callable statement, result set, and driver. Question 6. What is statement? Answer. Statement acts like a vehicle through which SQL commands can be sent. Through the connection object we create statement kind of objects. Through the connection object we create statement kind of objects. Statement stmt equals Connecticut.create statement. This method returns object which implements statement interface. Question 7. What is prepared statement? Answer. A prepared statement is an SQL statement that is pre-compiled by the database. Through pre-compilation, prepared statements improve the performance of SQL commands that are executed multiple times, given that the database supports prepared statements. Once compiled, prepared statements can be customized prior to each execution by altering predefined SQL parameters. Question 8. How to call a stored procedure from JDBC? Answer. PL/SQL stored procedures are called from within JDBC programs by means of the prepare call method of the connection object created. A call to this method takes variable bind parameters as input parameters as well as output variables and creates an object instance of the callable statement class. Question 9. What is row set? Answer. A row set is an object that encapsulates a set of rows from either Java Database Connectivity, JDBC, result sets, or tabular data sources like a file or spreadsheet. Row sets support component-based development models like Java Beans, with a standard set of properties and an event notification. Question 10. What are the different types of row set? Answer. There are two types of row set are there. They are connected. A connected row set object connects to the database once and remains connected until the application terminates. Disconnected. A disconnected row set object connects to the database, executes a query to retrieve the data from the database and then closes the connection. A program may change the data in a disconnected row set while it is disconnected. Modified data can be updated in the database after a disconnected disconnected row set re-establishes the connection with the database. Question 11. What is a data source? Answer. A data source object is the representation of a data source in the Java programming language. In basic terms, a data source is a facility for storing data. Data source can be referenced by J&I. Data source may point to RDBMS, file system, any DBMS, etc. Question 12. How do I start debugging problems related to the JDBC API? Answer. A good way to find out what JDBC calls are doing is to enable JDBC Tracing. The JDBC Trace contains a detailed listing of the activity occurring in the system that is related to JDBC operations. If you use the Driver Manager facility to establish your database connection, you use the Driver Manager setLogWriter method to enable tracing of JDBC operations. If you use a data source object to get a connection, you use the datasource.setLogWriter method to enable tracing. Question 13. I made my class clonable but I still can't access protected method clone. Why? Answer. Some of the Java books imply that all you have to do in order to have your class support clone is implement the clonable interface. Not so. Perhaps that was the intent at some point, but that's not the way it works currently. As it stands, you have to implement your own public clone method even if it doesn't do anything special and just calls super.clone. Question 14. Why is XML such an important development? Answer. It removes two constraints which were holding back web developments: dependence on a single, inflexible document type, HTML, which was being much abused for tasks it was never designed for, the complexity of full SGML, whose syntax allows many powerful but hard-to-program options. XML allows the flexible development of user-defined document types. It provides a robust, non-proprietary, persistent, and verifiable file format for the storage and transmission of text and data both on and off the web, and it removes the more complex options of SGML, making it easier to program for. Question 15. What is the fastest type of JDBC driver? Answer. JDBC driver performance will depend on a number of issues: the quality of the driver code, the size of the driver code, the database server and its load, network topology, the number of times your request is translated to a different API. In general, all things being equal, you can assume that the more your request and response change hands, the slower it will be. This means that Type 1 and Type 3 drivers will be slower than Type 2 drivers. The database calls are make at least 3 translations versus 2, and Type 4 drivers are the fastest, only 1 translation.